I have a question, and I think it's probably worth clarifying. When we talk about the amount of imports that we're taking from Mexico, and one of the things that has allowed us, even with tighter beef supplies, to maintain our beef production has been the fact that we have increased slaughter weights, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kept us even. Now we're talking about not just a tightening U.S. cattle herd that has not really slowed contraction drastically and has moved to an expansion mode. But we're talking about losing a supply of feeder cattle that come in through southern ports of entries and gets placed into feed yards along what typically Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, that area, right?
Right.
What percentage are we losing in terms of backgrounded cattle to go into these feed yards?
Yeah, so that question was is always gets asked. It always got asked in the quarter or Thanksgiving of last year. And so if we look at over a given year, we know that quarter three and quarter four, part quarter three, but a lot of quarter four is when we bring in a lot of the Mexican cattle into our yards, especially on that southern border. And roughly that can make up anywhere between 15 to 20% of placements during that time, just depending upon the year and kind of whatever market conditions are out there. As of right now, and we think about quarter two of this year and like any given year for quarter two, and depending upon market conditions, you're talking about anywhere between 5 to 7% of placements or receipts that are occurring are based off of these Mexican cattle. And so the thing that was kind of in question whenever we last restarted when we reopened based off of the closure of last Thanksgiving, the question was going to be what happened to those cattle, and are we going to rebound to previous expected levels? And we saw that we were getting back to the previous 5-year average and kind of what we normally do, or business as normal here in the U.S. with respect to putting feeder calves from Mexico into our yards. The question now moving forward is, with the closure, one, how long does this stay? Well, we know it's indefinite, and we know that some of it is based upon the thought of there's this new world screwworm, it's expanding, we need to get it under control, and until it's under control, we cannot be bringing in any of these cattle. Well, then that to me says that we're going to be here for a little bit of time. So not only are you talking about the U.S. cattle supply getting tight because of reduction, now we're losing this number here of 5 to 7% every week that we're not going to have, and then we have the compounding effect as we get into the quarter four, quarter three of this year. We could be really hitting a part where we have, substantial amount of cattle that historically are in our yards are not in the yards anymore. And that opens a whole nother ball of wax when it comes to the feed yards and, trying to be profitable and hanging in there. And do we look to Canada to find supplies? Where do we find the supply of cattle for? Does demand for lightweights really pick up because they just need to get supply and get, head in the yards? This opens up a whole new, I guess, Pandora's box of questions.